Welcome back to Breathe Easy, the podcast where we talk real-world respiratory care minus the fluff and without the drama. I'm your host, Danielle, and today we're zooming in on one of the smallest, sneakiest troublemakers in non-invasive ventilation, pressure points. You know, the moment your patient's mask is sitting pretty, numbers look great, but then you spot that first hint of redness on the bridge of the nose. That's where today's conversation kicks in. We're breaking down how something as simple as a thin piece of foam can make the difference between non-invasive ventilation success and intubation discussion nobody wants. So grab your coffee, your stethoscope, and let's protect the pressure, one mask at a time. When we talk about NIV, we often celebrate its ability to prevent intubation and support respiratory failure. But here's the truth. It fails fast when the skin fails fast. Pressure injuries from masks are preventable, but only when respiratory owns the skin, just as much as the seal. And skin breakdown equals discomfort intolerance, and suddenly we're discussing intubation. Not because the therapy wasn't effective, but because the patient's non-compliant and the skin couldn't tolerate the interface. Let me clear this up right now. Tighter doesn't mean better. A too tight mask increases pain, increases anxiety, increases swelling, and ironically, it leads to more leaks, not fewer. Best practice is a floating fit. Just enough tension to seal, but not enough to compress the tissue, and that's where our protective tools come in. Alright team, before we even turn on the NIV, we're suiting up the skin with Mepilex Lite. Think of it like a seatbelt for the bridge of the nose. Just enough to protect, not enough to get in the way. It's thin, flexible, and absorbs just enough to reduce shear and friction under the mask. The goal here is pure prevention. If we can keep pressure down early, we can avoid chasing redness later. Happy skin equals better tolerance, better seal, and no way fewer tighten it until it squeak moments. This is where the magic happens, the SafeTac technology. This adhesive actually has manners. It molds gently to the skin, filling the tiny surface gaps and creating a smooth interface for the mask. And when it's time to remove or reposition, SafeTac lets go without the drama. No ripping, no stripping, and no patient wincing. The big picture, we're creating a gentle, skin-friendly microseal that stays put but doesn't damage tissue. This is the vibe we want under every mask: comfort, consistency, and protection that supports therapy instead of sabotaging it. After the start of initiating therapy, the therapist applies Mepilex Lite as soon as redness is identified. And this doesn't matter whether the patient has continuous orders, intermittent, or just QHS non-invasive orders. Keep in mind the mask should be floated, not cranked down. And if redness doesn't improve in 24 hours, it's time to reevaluate, switch to a total face or bridgeless mask, and we release mask pressure at least every 4 hours and document it and partner closely with nursing and wound care. Skin assessment is respiratory assessment. Now, I'm waiting for someone to ask me, Danny, how do I use this Mepilex Lite? How do I cut it for my patients? All the instructions for use and cutting guides are available on the online respiratory handbook. But if redness continues after 24 hours, don't tighten, transition your patient to an alternative mask. There are excellent alternatives that protect the skin while maintaining ventilation. And this isn't failure, it's good respiratory practice. We're offloading pressure, preserving therapy, and keeping patients comfortable. Masks, no matter how good, also need breaks. So continue to pressure release, support with high flow oxygen therapy if needed, and evaluate the skin upon every assessment. This should be documented in the electronic health record. Pressure relief is an intervention, not a suggestion. And this goes for day shift and night shift. Every non-invasive ventilation assessment includes a skin assessment, no exceptions. We visually check the pressure points, document in the respiratory flow sheet, and communicate early with nursing. In the beginning of 2026, the wound care team at the medical center has the availability to be contacted from the regional facilities via secure chat, and they would like for us to do that as well. If we see non-blanchable redness or breakdown, we need to loop them in, and at the medical center, we'll place a wound consult. Ignoring early changes is the fastest way to lose non-invasive ventilation as an option. Here's the bottom line. Tighter masks do not equal better therapy. Mepilex Lite is an early intervention tool, not a last-ditch effort. And redness lasting more than 24 hours means it's time to reassess the interface. Pressure relief every 4 hours is mandatory with the exception of QHS therapy. And skin integrity directly influences the success of this therapy. When we protect the skin, we protect the airway. That wraps up today's episode of Breathe Easy. Remember, better skin means better therapy, and the smallest changes at the bedside often have the biggest impact on patient outcomes. If this episode helps shift your perspective on non-invasive ventilation, interface safety, share it with your team or bring it to your next huddle. And if you want to chat about ideas, opportunities, or join an episode, send me an email or check my calendar. Until next time, take care of your patients, take care of each other, and as always, breathe easy.